Hey guys, we are 2 weeks into this shift, and I wanted to say updates on what I've noticed with like what's happening, and I want to know if you guys notice it as well. It is sort of amazing. So there's a couple of big things that are happening. So there's two things to remember. One is that with these energy shifts and frequency upgrade, you are more susceptible, if you'd like, to energies of the planets. So that is what I'm noticing, and I'm going to show you how the correspondences Monday, Sunday through Saturday have been working, and what they're doing. And the other thing is that the veil is getting thin, and I'll talk about that first because that one's easier. So the veil is thinning right now. I don't know why, but it's so funny. So my daughter has clairvoyance, so she sees what I can't see. So sometimes we're sitting down and I'm teaching her not to be scared. I teach her how, I'm a spiritual warrior. I'm not scared if she sees like a weird spirit. I'm like, this is what you do, da 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 da, right? And I do my own little magic on the side where I burn some black candles to keep her protected, and only high integrity beings go her way. But as far as the veil being thin right now, my daughter, she sees things, and so we'll be walking right there, and she was like, "Who's that man in the car?" And points to my car, and no one's there. And she'll go, "You know what? I don't want to look at him anymore." I'm like, "There's no one in the car visually." But then I'm like, okay. So we'll be doing things, and she's like, "Yeah, he's right here." There's no one there. So my daughter sees visions. My clairvoyance isn't like hers, where it's just like boom, but she definitely has it. She's 4. I'm okay with that. I don't tell her to go, oh, act like it's not there. No, I'm not scared because most of the beings haven't done anything, right? They're just beings that she can see. They are aware she can see. And if you're open, that does bring some stuff. So that does bring something, because if they know you're aware, they're like, hey, let me come on in, right? So I rely on her spirit team, her guardian angels, and I do my own protections for her, meaning I invoke the different elements that I work with to keep watch over her and make sure only high integrity things. So at the end of the day, I don't want her seeing too much, but I also have to trust that she's going through her own spiritual growth, and I put a layer of pretty strong protection around her. Don't think my protections are nothing, because I put a lot of energy to it. I'm pretty consistent. I burn a candle every day for it. You ain't getting past me, okay? You can try it, but one thing I do know is protection. But the funny thing is, so my ex-husband is not as aware of what's going on. He doesn't even think God exists, right? So he's watching my daughter. He believes like the vaccine's good and all, and I'm like, oh my God. Oh, then you wake up, right? And so he called today, and this is an example of the veil being thin. And so he's like, hey, to my daughter, why don't you go to the potty? Because she's still potty training after like a year. And she says, stop it. I'm talking to God. He says, oh. And then she's like, God, will you get Dad to play with me? And it's funny. So he called me out to tell me about it. And I was like, well, what did God say to her? Right. And it's because I know that it can be God, or it can be another being that her spirit guides let through, that is talking to her and telling her things. Like, I'm aware of that. So that's why I do so many protections to make sure they're high integrity only people there to work and assist with her. She also has a unicorn guide. She also has some ghosts. She calls her Ghosty. You know what I mean? She has an imaginary friend named Bowie who hangs out with us all the time. And Bowie's like, for real, because I was doing a healing on Layla. She was in another room, but I was just doing it remotely, because you can do that. You don't have to be right in front of me for me to do an energy healing with the angels with you. And it was funny because she came in like a minute into it and was like, Bowie wants a healing too, mommy. I was like, okay. So Bowie is real, okay? Because she knew exactly when I started the energy healing with you. She came right into my room. And I'm like, all right, so your kids have spirit guides. If you want, you can shut that down and close their eyes. I've been spending the last 4 months trying to open my eyes back up for what we had when we were kids. My daughter's going to know it. So I just teach her how to say, if you don't like a ghost, say God or Archangel Michael, tell them to go, right? And she does it, and I'm like, did it leave? She's like, yeah, that worked. So she's very comfortable with talking to God, because I teach her that is one of your protections, because she can't understand too much right now, but she can understand at 4, God, tell them to go away, right? So to hear him call me and he's like, well, she was talking to God and then asked if I can play, for him, he's probably thinking she's making it up. But for me, I'm like, okay, good. That relationship that I taught her to call on God because is working. And so it was just an example because she does that stuff around me, but to do it around my ex, it's like, wow, the veil is very thin and it's becoming thinner. So that is something that you guys might have noticed since December 21st. But that is the world we're in. The veil is thin. So if you guys are experiencing psychic phenomenon, if you're experiencing seeing things floating above you, maybe ghosts, you're like, did I see that? You did. That is the world we're going into. And it's funny, there's this anime called Airbender, and they had this thing where like the veil between like the spirit and the new world like came down, and they were like, you need to fix it. She was like, no, you need to fix it. Like, you need to become comfortable with it. Just like Airbender, we got to come comfortable. So if you've noticed anything for that, like that, put it down in the comments. But personally, so I'm really sensitive to these energy upgrades. Jason, pray for Trump. Okay. Listen, I have a video on Trump. I don't care. He is an ass, but if I had to choose between that ass, but at least he's a racist ass, don't get me wrong. But that doesn't mean everything he said was all wrong, okay? So I don't have a problem with it. Biden, honestly, I'm just going to stay unbothered. Politics and government is a corrupt system anyways, meant to control us and is waging spiritual warfare on us. So Joe Biden's battle for the soul of the nation, he means it. It really is spiritual warfare. So do with that what you want. And so I have a lot of Caucasian men on today. Y'all never watch me, so I don't know why you guys are on today. Y'all hear me talking about the spiritual stuff, y'all jump right off because y'all like, I don't know anything about that. So I'm surprised to see it today. For everybody else on YouTube or Instagram, Twitter is like, usually they don't stay this long. I don't know. Maybe they're waking up to the truth, but I usually don't. So the other thing is, tell me if you guys have noticed this. I am led by the days of the week. So I do magic, right? I do all sorts of magic. Some of the stuff is a bit Wiccanish. Some of it is from ancient Mayan that my ancestors taught me. Some of it is with Merlin because I work with the spirit. I do energy healings with Merlin all the time, just like I do my angelic healings. And so it's a mixture of all that. And so I know the days of the weeks because I know that the planets have an impact on us. So Friday is ruled by Venus, right? Thursday is Jupiter. Wednesday is Mercury. Tuesday is Mars. Monday is the moon. Sunday is the sun. So I'm going to go over what all they're called correspondences, because what they correspond with. And I'm going to tell, oh my God, like my life has been like that. So Sunday is the sun. Sun is God, goddess, right? So it's very much about your ego, your charm, but growth and prosperity. So today I noticed that I'm very much was getting a lot more downloads about what does it mean to be a goddess, right? And so when you're walking outside and a lot of men are like, hi, hello, every time that they send you that hello, you're getting like a dose of devotion energy, right? That's what it means being in your goddess energy. So Sunday, it was very interesting because I'm noticing when it comes to the God goddess archetype, I'm getting a lot of downloads specific to that. What does it mean to get devotion as a spiritual being or in physical person? And what does it mean when you're doing all those rituals for God? Every time you do that, you're sending them energy, you're strengthening them, right? And so all these downloads about divinity are really coming in. But on Thursday, very expansive. I worked so hard at my business because my business is in service to others. I'm a real estate investor and I have a real estate investing platform. And I just couldn't stop working all Thursday. I was like, oh my God. And then I didn't notice this until Saturday that I was going towards the correspondences almost word for word. So Jupiter is expansion. It's a service. It's big. It's luck. It's opportunity, business, right? So that's when I do all of my business magic. If I want a goal, like I want to sell, 3,000 books this month. That's the goal of manifestation I'll put out into the world. And, I worked for almost, it was like 20 hours. I just couldn't stop and nothing but work. And then Friday came and it was all about love. All the guys I was dating called. I had too many calls. It was just like, it was so interesting. And then it was Saturday that I noticed that because of these energy shifts, that literally my life and the energy in which I show up. And I'm also sensitive and okay with being intuitive, Meaning if I get a feeling from source, I go with it. So if I had all this planned, but my feeling from source says you're tired or you don't want to do this, I don't do it. I don't care if it was planned. I will cancel. That's the kind of person I am. I am led by my internal guidance system, even if it can cause some angst or some uncomfortable feelings on other people's part. I suggest everyone lives this way because you'll be a lot happier for it, following guidance. But it was Saturday. Like, if you read my other videos, you guys know I don't like cleaning. I don't like working. I pay people all the time. People are in and out. I pay people all the time to do work around my house, So I don't like doing it. But Saturday, another 18-hour day, I was just working. I mean, I got the garage done. I took down Christmas stuff. I cleaned out this. And then I did my own laundry instead of paying someone to do the laundry. Like... So all these things that I was working, I was like, I've never been this productive. But Saturday is Saturn energy, which is no nonsense discipline, get things done. So I'm wondering, have you guys also noticed that your days are being ran by the planets if you're sensitive to it? Now, I will admit, when it comes to these frequency shifts and frequency upgrades, everyone's gotten all over the, over this globe and galaxy the last year in 2020, as we're rising and ascending to the fifth dimension. I know not everyone got as much of a dose, right? And I know because I do my energy work, I got a lot more. I felt it a lot more. It was a lot more deep, a lot more painful, took me out a lot because I do that energy work. Versus if you're spiritual but you don't do the energy work, you can only absorb and integrate so much because you haven't cleansed. You haven't cleansed your energy. Well, guess what? When the shift in energy comes to raise the vibration, you can only do so much. You can only absorb so much for that 2, 3, 4 day period, right? And so I'm just very aware. I do energy work. I'm an angelic healer. I do energy healing just about every single day, be it with my ancestors to activate my DNA from past lives I had, or Merlin to activate the DNA that I've had when I was in a past life and I worked with him. That's in my DNA structure. Or be it with the angels, because, I have like different things around my body that just need to be seen to that time or that day. I do a lot of that. So I know I got a lot, but I'm also wondering if, and I've explained and some of this showed you some of the symptoms, which were pretty severe, but, completely worth it because all my spiritual gifts and abilities are just expanding at an exciting rate. But I'm also wondering if you guys noticed too. So Wednesday is Mercury, which is all about communication. Tuesdays is Mars. And it's funny because Tuesday I worked out like 3 hours, like I didn't notice it until Saturday because I had to go the whole week. And I noticed I had one focus per day depending on the week. And I noticed it was like directly related to like the planets, right? And then on Wednesday, I'm like on Facebook and Twitter and I'm talking to everyone and sending stuff out. So that is another side effect of the shift. Tell me if you've noticed it, that you actually are being guided and led if you allow yourself to be guided and led from within. You're guided and led each day based on the correspondence of the days of the week. So the planets are having a bigger effect. So I thought that was super cool, because I do go with the flow now more so than before because I am more in my divine feminine energy. And I just want you guys to let me know. Tell me in the comments below and I'll respond. Like, have you guys noticed the correspondence? Think about your Saturday. Did you just was super productive this Saturday? Way more than usual. And just boom, 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 boom. Thursday, were you really focused on your business? Tuesday, did you work out like an extra 30 minutes or an hour more than you usually do? Wednesday, were you this orator? Let me know. And Mondays are ruled by the moon, which is all about your psychic and spiritual gifts. So you might be a little bit more clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, clairsalient, clairalien, all the clairs than you normally are. So I just wanted to give you guys that status and update on the thinning veil, being more guided by the planets if you're open to it. And that is what's going on. And that is one of the symptoms of the rising frequencies. So Mercury says, I was actually laid out on Saturday. I slept all day. Girl, I did 18 hours. And you've been watching me long enough to know I don't work like that. I really don't. I'll go work out, but like to work around the house, I don't like that. I couldn't stop. I literally could not stop. So it was just very obvious when I looked over the week. Oh my God, I'm led by the planet. The energy of the planets I'm very sensitive to, and I'm guided by that. So that was pretty cool. So I'm going to do a little bit more today being Sunday. I'm going to do a little bit more magic. But if you like what you're hearing, please press a heart or a like or subscribe. I'm going to do one more video tonight, and it's going to be on the divine feminine and dating. I wrote a whole divine feminine is what basically I've been training for this because I have so much content. It's a little ridiculous. So I have not had this much content since I started my real estate investing platform, and I made like 100 videos on that. You know what I mean? And that's sort of how I launched that business in 2013. That's how much content I have on the divine feminine. It just keeps coming. So I'm gonna get it all out because that is service to others. This content needs to get out because at the end of the day, it can't be me as a channeler having all this information and I'm sitting here by myself.